Hey, what's up everybody? I'm going to be talking about today about zinc and how it can actually help with ADHD. What is the reason of actually using zinc and if you should use it if you have ADHD. Before I get started, I have a free guide for parents who have kids with ADHD as well as if you are an adult that have ADHD. You can download that free guide either if you're on the Facebook Live above here on the links and if you're on YouTube down below in the description. So jumping right in, what is actually the benefit of zinc? Why should you actually be considering supplementing it if you really need to? So first off, let's talk about zinc, for example. What is it? Zinc is actually an essential cofactor for more than 100 different types of enzymes in our body. That's huge. So you can tell it is already alone a very important type of vitamin that we need in our body. But the other thing that you also need to understand is it's also very necessary for the metabolism of both carbohydrates, fatty acids, and proteins, something that we eat every day, right? So you can see all alone that zinc is important for that process and the metabolism of those types of foods that we eat on a consistent basis. But the other thing you also need to understand is it is an important type of metabolism for also neurotransmitters, and therefore is also helps maintain the brain function and structure, because neurotransmitters is something that we use consistently in our brain. Specifically, it is a very important thing for ADHD. Now, as far as when it comes to the looking at specific types of neurotransmitters, such as dopamine, I would say is one of the most important neurotransmitter when it comes to actually looking at the pathophysiology of hyperactivity, specifically looking at ADHD, the hyperactivity issues going on there with dopamine. And the other thing that you have to realize is when it comes to a specific hormone known as melatonin is also an important role in regulating dopamine. But also, did you know that zinc is very important and very necessary for the metabolism of melatonin? So if zinc is important and actually is the very process for also the metabolism of melatonin, and the melatonin helps with producing the process of dopamine, you can assume that if you implement zinc, then therefore it could possibly help with something like ADHD. But let's look at the studies first to really see, okay, is this something that you should be implementing or not? Does it make much of a difference? So the studies that I've actually looked at did look at that there is a big difference with people who have ADHD versus people who don't have ADHD. They have found that have more of a significant zinc deficiency. Now, does that mean everybody with ADHD has a zinc deficiency? No, it doesn't. But there tends to be more of a prevalence with people who have ADHD to have a zinc deficiency that they have found in these studies. Now, by looking at that, there's been also studies, okay, if that's the case, if we implement zinc, does it help improve any kind of ADHD symptoms that are common? And then some studies, they did find that people who had both ADHD and a deficiency in zinc, they did find improvements in both hyperactivity and impulsivity. Now, it didn't find any improvements in inattentiveness, but it did find improvements in hyperactivity and impulsivity, which are very common with people with ADHD. Especially for your parents that have children with ADHD, you might get frustrated a lot because of the impulsivity and hyperactivity that just kind of exhaust you. Now, this you do have to make sure if you have a zinc deficiency. Don't just go ahead right away and go supplement zinc. You do need to check if you have a zinc deficiency. If it's something that you should be implementing, you should be checking with your doctor first. Now, how do you actually run or actually know if you have a zinc deficiency, what you should be doing? Well, typically it's just a typical blood draw, or you can actually check it with urine or a hair analysis to see if you do have a zinc deficiency. These are things that you need to be taking steps for. Now, as far as what the studies do, the next question that people have is, okay, how much should you dose? Well, you always need to check with your doctor. But as far as what the research shown is anywhere from like 14 to 20 milligrams. I think they didn't go over 20 milligrams a day in zinc with children. But again, it depends how deficient you are and how much you need to dose. So not one person's going to be the same as far as what you need to dose. So you need to keep that in mind. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave that in the comment section below. As well as, if you have not downloaded my free guide on ADHD, I have it for both parents and for adults. If you want to know more info and other types of supplements, nutrients, and vitamins and labs to run, go ahead and download that free guide. If you're on Facebook, it is in the link above. And if you're on YouTube, it is in the description below. So this is Dr. LeGrand signing out. And remember, you guys have an optimal mind. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.